every year. It's
I
like,
know we try to outdo everybody else, and now it's just like we're just going to gotta get another one and just go gross, just like disgustingly big.
well, I know that. I know when you guys came home from Miami, all the guys went to live, and the plane ride home, I heard, was epic.
You know what? I passed out. There's a picture of me.
Probably the emotional toll.
Oh man, just wiped out, man. Because there's a picture of me. I've got a cigar hanging from my mouth. I've got the trophy with the seatbelt right next to me, and my hat down, just passed out. Yeah, it's one of the best pictures ever.
I love that. I love it. Well, I'm so happy to spend some time with you. I really do appreciate it,
Of
and
course.
it means a lot. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I guess my first question, Mark, is like, what are you doing day to day now from a physical standpoint, and then perhaps more importantly, to keep yourself mentally productive and sharp?
I've been doing a lot of stuff. Well, I'm an investor in over 150 companies, so just keeping up with what's going on there, staying up to date there, doing interviews, just trying to help other small businesses, and that makes the day go by fast. Getting my workouts in, trying to get some time to play tennis with my wife, or get shots up, with my little, my 10-year-old, or even my daughters now too. Tried to teach myself to skateboard. That was a disaster. My wrist is just like torched. Just like anybody else, man, just trying to find things to do, watching Tiger King, watching The Last Dance, watching Ozarks. It's just,
ooh, there's a lot to unpack there. I guess I'll start with The Last Dance. And just as a basketball fan, to geek out, what have you enjoyed the most about it, you think?
just seeing the side of Michael that I didn't know about, right? I know, it's legendary how competitive he was and how combative he was and how demanding he was. And, when you're Michael Jordan, you can get away with that stuff. But you didn't really get to see the stuff with the security guards and everything. Look, I've known him now since he bought the Hornets. I actually knew him before then. And he's a good guy, man. I've always had fun. I've hung out with him. But the whole thing with the shrug, with the security guys and everything, that was a side of him I really didn't know. So it was good to see.
It's interesting you mentioned the security guards. It's almost as if he felt more comfortable just hanging with them than going out and being Michael Jordan.
Yeah, there's no question. You go out and he just gets slammed. I mean, I get it now and then. I can't even imagine the level that he was on, right? And then, you try to stick to people that you're comfortable with, that don't want anything from you. And that security guard team obviously were his guys, man. And, I mean, who the hell flips quarters? I mean, just.
And it has to win. Has to win.
Has to win. It just keeps on pulling out the 20s and just like that's being a machine, man. That's having juice that goes for days.
Yeah, he's different. What do you think because we have two more left, but I guess the biggest thing for me is like, how will we as the NBA and just the whole community of sports fans, how will we perceive him after this is done? Like, as
more human. Yeah, more human. I mean, I think, he's always been legendary and he'll continue to be legendary, but you didn't really get to see him, the person, right? Because especially the players, right? They've seen highlights, they've seen stuff on YouTube, but never anything that really just humanized him, for better or worse, right? Yeah. The good and the bad. And I think that'll allow a whole new generation to connect to him. Like I grew up, man, I remember getting my first VHS tapes with Michael Jordan, Come Fly With Me, and just thinking,
yeah, that was great.
Yeah, the most crazy thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I remember like when we started broadcast.com and got to video, going to North Carolina and getting rights to all his old games and streaming them online. This is like 1998. And that was such a big deal, right? Because you can go back and watch any of his old North Carolina games online. And just really getting to see him play as a college player and just seeing, you don't really think about it when he was playing, but my God, it was just, yeah, it's just interesting, just all the pieces.
Really, yeah. You mentioned the humanizing. That's where I go. That's where I go, especially when you think about him as a teammate. Like, I feel like he was a great teammate, even though at the time the Scottie Pippens and Rodmans and Kerrs probably to a degree hated him or at least despised him and felt like they were in this Michael Jordan prison. But it was all to maximize and enhance the chances of winning. For when it really mattered, they would be physically ready, but more than anything, psychologically ready. Let
me just tell you, guys, if you get guys a parade in a ring, they will put up with just about anything, man. Because when you're playing with one of the greatest of all time, you guys realize that that's a pinnacle. Guys know that if you leave the game with a ring, that just gives you,
A whole nother,
just a whole nother level of respect. Even if you weren't the guy, right? Even if you just happened to be there, it just brings a whole nother level of respect. And and there's so many, the Charles Barkleys of the world, the Karl Malones, the John Stocktons, who never got that.
yeah.
And so, that's how important it is. So, I think he might not have been the classic great teammate, but when it's all said and done, he was the teammate because he got you there.
Most guys I've talked to, in fact, I don't think I've heard anybody say different, have said to me, not only would they have loved to have been Michael Jordan's teammate, but they would have loved for him to come at them like that and get, extract the most out of them. Like even Steve Kerr, Steve Kerr has said that when he went back at Mike, that's when Michael really respected him. And that's what I think guys relate to.
And it happens all the time, even in the game today, man. If a guy backs down, he's the guy who backed down. If a guy steps up, and keeps on coming back and coming back and coming back, that Dwight Powell attitude. Dwight Powell's not a big name, but he's relentless, right? And so he has everybody's respect. It's just there are guys on teams that just have heart, had that dog in them, the foxhole guys, right? And those guys would love, even though they might not have had the talent, if Jordan went at them, they'd be like, come on, let's go. Let's get to the next level. And, those are the guys I respect.
You mentioned Dwight Powell. It's funny. A couple guys told me, when he was coming out of Stanford, they thought, but quickly, like within 5-10 minutes, they realized that he was like a dog. And he's up that reputation.
Yeah, he's tore his Achilles, and he still works harder than anybody. It's crazy. He's one of those guys you have to pull out of the gym. He just works too hard sometimes.
Do you think that Rodman, I feel like there's a new appreciation for Dennis too. Like not only him as a player, but the fact that he's able to come in and he says John Daly was his God, but Phil was his Moses. And the way he studied rebounding, to me, like Rodman comes out of this, even all the Vegas crap and all the nonsense, he comes out of this looking better than ever.
Oh yeah, because they didn't get into all the crazy stuff, right? They showed little glimpses of him, having fun and everything. And that kind of made him more fun, right, and more interesting. But, and it still holds true today. Like when you have somebody who's a dominant player and has a dominant personality, you can bring somebody who's different onto the squad, right? Because you know that they're going to defer to your superstar, to your greatness. Whether it's LeBron, Dirk, Kobe. Like Kobe didn't care what your personality was. Dirk didn't care. As long as you could play, LeBron doesn't care. Look at the squad they had his first year with the Lakers. I mean, that was a reality show.
Yeah.
He didn't care. And Michael was the same way. You bring someone who can play, that gives him a chance to get another ring, and he was all in.
I could not agree more. Also, like, I wonder for you when you're looking back at this, and for me, it's a stark contrast, just of especially in the early 90s, like the quality of the basketball is so much different. It's in the half court, measured possessions. Everything's condensed. Michael scored 50 plus without taking a three, even taking one. So how do you feel like, I'm just curious to get your
It's
opinion.
crazy.
Let's put Mike in this day and age. I think he's getting 45, and I think he's learning how to become a great three-point shooter, but nobody cares what I think. What about you?
Oh, no. I mean, he'd have a pull-up three. It'd be that easy, right? And, look at Harden. Harden doesn't shoot a great percentage from three, but he can get a shut off any day or any time with that step back, right? And he knows how to use that. He knows how to use his body. You never really saw Michael do that with the three, right? Could you imagine Michael having a step back, Michael having a pull-up three? And you didn't really see back in the day guys using their body to put someone on their hip, right?
Yeah.
And just using it to create space. Learning all those things. And plus, if with just the physicality being so much less and so much less impact on his body, 45 a night, easy, whenever he wanted it, however he wanted it. And then defensively too. I mean, just being able to turn it up defensively and guard on the perimeter and switch to anybody. And now that you don't have the big Shaq-like bodies like you used to, just being able to guard 1 through 5 like
He's
that.
guarded 1 through 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like from a spacing standpoint and the way guys take care of their bodies now, it's all about elongating careers. Like, Michael started lifting later in his career, but there's no cryo tanks then. Guys aren't getting the same level of treatment. I mean, it's a totally different ball.
He's smoking a cigar after every game, right?
Yeah. Before the games.
Yep. It's just like, just a different beast back then, just different science, different technology. But, and even with all that, he played into his 40s, with the Wizards. And so he managed.
I was also, last point on this, and so I want to move on, but I was also incredibly impressed with the fact that he leaves for 10 months, he plays baseball, he loses obviously weight, and then he thinks to himself, maybe I can steal another championship. He hasn't played, by the way, he hasn't really played at all basketball because he was focusing so much on baseball. And he comes back, and everybody thinks he struggled, and he was terrible in the 94 playoffs against Orlando. He averaged 31 in that series. So,
he put up 55 against the Knicks, a good Knicks team in the Garden, right? But the playoffs is just different because it's more physical, particularly back then. And you're playing more minutes than you would in the regular season. There's no nights off the way there were in the regular season back then. And so, it was incredible. But you know what? It's a message for what we're going through right now too. I don't remember how many games he played to finish out the season when he came back. But then you saw him.
It was like 20, maybe 20, something like that.
Well, and here we are looking at how many games left in our season if we come back, right? And guys have to take. Right, and so you probably not even play 15, but to get guys back into shape, right, to get them ready for the playoffs, man, if it was hard for Michael with 20 games, just imagine what it's going to be like for all of our guys coming back. It's going to be different.
Yeah, that's a great lead into my next question about, like, how long would it take? Because I've heard guys say, like I've talked to players who said it would take me an hour or two from a skill standpoint, but it would take me 2-3 weeks from a physical standpoint.
Yeah.
That's what matters more.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, right? It's going to take, training camp is 3 weeks for a reason, right? But we don't have to put in plays. It's just about physical conditioning. Yeah. And I think once guys have a feel for, a start date, they'll turn it up, or even just an inkling that there's going to be a start date, they'll turn it up. Because 2 months is 2 months, but, guys don't get that much out of shape, right? So I think a good 2 weeks of solid training, and then a couple games to really get in game shape, because it's hard to replicate that. 3, 4, maybe 5 games, and then go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I hope.
Are you optimistic at all? Or
yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, right? It comes down to science and keeping everybody safe. It's if you can't keep I use the White House protocol, right? We've got to be able to do for our players and essential personnel what they're doing to protect the president and vice president. Because they have access to the best of everything. So whatever they're doing, that's what we need to do. And if we get there, then we play. And if we don't, we don't.
Yeah, you guys were starting to look pretty nice, I must say.
We got a squad, and, Dwight won't be able to come back this year. Well, I'm not going to speak for him. Right. You never know with Dwight. But, Lucas' hand was bothering him, and that was a problem. And so, he's going to recover. But everybody's going to have those knick-knack injuries that they had that are going to be gone now. And so everybody's
full strength. Everybody's rested. There's no more minute restrictions.
Everybody's dying to play too because they're bored to tears. Just bored. Yeah. You get on these group chats, and I've even talked to guys from other teams, and they're just dying. Yeah. Just so ready to play. And so, when it comes back, because everybody's fresh, it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says. The playoffs are going to be great.
I totally agree. What's the roadmap then? Are we talking shortened series? Prolonged?
I have no idea. Yeah. Jordan, you literally know as much as I do. I'm on the media committee. I'm not on all those committees that deal with that. So I find out like everybody else.
So baseball's thinking, okay, we can come back in July, no fans. When you heard that, because I was surprised, honestly, when I heard that. What was your reaction to that?
I mean, the devil's in the details, right? Because saying you're going to come back is easy. Knowing exactly what you're going to do, and I'm not taking anything away from baseball. I'm sure they're doing all their homework, and all the leagues talk, all the commissioners talk, right? But making it work with a roster of 25 plus all the other people, right? That's going to be a challenge, and it's very equipment driven. So you're always touching stuff, right? Yeah. Your bat, your helmet, your gloves, and you can give each person their own, and that's the way it works. But it just the clubhouse boys, you're going to see all the little nitpicky things that didn't matter before will matter now for all sports. And the more players you have on a squad, whether, basketball's got it easy, 15 plus the two ways, that's pretty simple. You only really need 3 coaches and a trainer, maybe 1, 2 coaches if you need to,
Yeah.
and a trainer. Whereas baseball, you got your 25 guys, and football, 53 is going to be a battle.
The football's, yeah, I know. I'm very college football to me of all the things seems going to be
Particularly college football. There's 70, 80 guys on scholarship,
and
they make all their money.
Enormous.
Oh, and they make all their money off a gate. It's going to be really, really difficult.
Yeah. Mark, you've become such a part of the fabric of Dallas, and specifically, I've noticed how involved you've been in terms of trying to help small businesses. And what do you think right now is the biggest challenge for small businesses? And obviously, not just in Dallas, but throughout the country.
Demand. Consumer demand. When everybody's afraid they're going to lose their job, or they have lost their job, or they've cut back on hours, or they've had their salaries or hourly reduced, you're afraid to spend money. You go back to student mode, and you live as cheaply as possible. And if there's no consumer demand is 2/3 of GDP in this country. So if people aren't spending, it's tough for businesses to stick it out. Even with all the stimulus programs, that buys you time, but it doesn't buy you profits, right? And that's the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, so we've got to figure out ways to make people confident they're going to be able to keep their jobs.
Do you feel like people are less confident now than they were when you talk to people, let's say, in the last month or 6 weeks or more?
I think they're more hopeful now because they're starting to see some things open up. And because unemployment insurance is held up, I think people are okay, right? But because we don't know anything about this virus and what's next, everybody's, scared at some level. You can lie to yourself and say, oh, it's not going to happen to me and the odds are in my favor. The odds are in everybody's favor and all the things that can go wrong. But at the same time, it's still risky. And I think that's still concerning to people.
You mentioned the White House, and I know you called for testing to be more widespread.
Okay.
Is there like a blueprint to how that can even happen?
Yeah, in terms of testing, there's lots of blueprints, right? You just have to have the volume of tests. You can train, we should be starting to train people right now to be healthcare workers, to do tracking and tracing, to be able to do the testing and volume the way we need it, to be able to support people with pre-existing conditions that are going to be afraid to go outside and just deal with the real world until we have a vaccine that's truly effective. But we're not, and so that's the challenge. Like Mike Tyson said, I've been talking all day. Like Mike Tyson said, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right?
Exactly. And, how do you respond?
And so you can come up with plans, the White House, I can, whoever, but you got to be prepared to implement those plans. The plan's the easy part. And so, we should be out there hiring and training people only because millions of people need jobs. You got 30+ million who are unemployed, another 20 who are underemployed. The government needs to have, if only a transitional jobs program, to hire people to train to do all these things.
Yeah. I know you said that, I don't even know where to go with this, but you said that you would consider 2024.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I got to get the permission from my family. My kids, my wife voted me down. Like,
having gone through that myself, yes. That's
right, you've been there, right? So know. Yeah.
2 more questions for me, and then I'll let you go because I know you've been talking all day, and I really appreciate the time.
No worries.
From a Shark Tank perspective, you
mean Shark Tank Friday nights on ABCs with some bonus episodes on Wednesday nights. That's Shark Tank.
Yeah, that one. How much more have you enjoyed it than maybe you thought you would at the beginning?
1,000 times. Like when I first went on there, Jordan, I went on in season 2 as a guest shark, and it would bounce around. Like it would be a replacement for Desperate Housewives on Sunday night, then they stick it on Friday or then Tuesday. And I went on there to do 3 episodes as a guest shark. And I'm thinking, this is a business show. There's no chance it lasts another season. I'm just going to go nuts, right? I'm going to buy everything. I'm going to freak out everybody. I'm just going to raise hell. And I just bought the worst businesses ever, invested in these just jumpy businesses.
On purpose.
On purpose. I didn't care, right? I just wanted to disrupt and turn everybody upside down. But then it started to take off. They put us on Friday nights, and it turned into a great family show, and it just blew up. And now it's, we're in our 11th season. We're, once we can, we'll start shooting season 12. I mean, it's just crazy. Never in my wildest dreams. And now, everybody has watched it at some point. They repeat it on CNBC all day, every day. ABC repeats it. Like I said, it's Wednesday and Friday nights now. And so, everybody knows me from Shark Tank. Like hardly anybody knows me from the Mavs anymore.
See that to me, I figured you'd say that because, like, I love watching the presentations and the deals, but it's more interesting and I think entertaining to watch the chemistry that's now been developed between you and Robert and Barbara. I mean, that's what's so funny. Like,
It's crazy.
Deal. Yeah, that to me as the viewer, like that's what I love.
Oh, and you don't see the half of it, right? Because, in real time, in real world, those things can go on for 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes. Then they shorten them down to 10 minutes. And so we know stuff will get edited. The entrepreneurs don't know how much is edited and what stays and what goes. So we'll start cursing at them. I'll curse at Robert, you dumb MF, this, that. And the entrepreneurs will be like, what the hell is going on? But we all get along. But like, those days are long. When we're shooting, they're 10, 12-hour days. And so like any other job that you're stuck with somebody all those hours, you get annoyed, and all those battles are the real deal, man. It's all for real. It's no show.
Do you feel like they're like coworkers and teammates, or are they like someone you would look at and say, this competition?
Oh, no, they're like the people at work you're competing for the promotion with,
Right.
And so, yeah, no, they're friends, but I'm still going to kick their ass. I don't care what they say. And they know I kick their ass. There's no, I've lost maybe 3 deals in 10 years, and that's just like shocking to me, so I mess with them all the time.
I think it's really interesting when like the deal's on a precipice and Barbara's thinking, and then all of a sudden you go, you know what? And then you just jump in. And every time it seems like you steal that deal. And every time it seems like your coworkers are surprised.
Yeah, it's just like, so like I said, these things can go on for 90 minutes or more, right? And I'm just like, I'm sick of this stuff, right? You guys are killing me nickel and diamond over this. Screw you guys. Let me just bounce in, because sometimes you're on the fence and I'm like, okay, I can think of a reason to do it. I can think of a reason not to do it. So I've already got enough companies. I'll let this one slide, see what they're going to do. And then if they just start nickel and diamond, like Kevin, well, let me talk about a royalty, and Robert, well, and so I'm like, screw this. I'll just like swoop in and grab it. Because, the company's going to be okay and it's good TV. So why not? And I get to mess with them.
Your biggest commodity is the time it's now going to take every single time you invest it to now say, okay, I'm going to have to do this for them for this long.
And I've got a great team working with me, but I still got to connect with all these guys. I still get weekly reports, bad news first. I get an email from all of them until they get to that point where they're cocky and they're like, I got this. But when they're just getting going and need help, every week I'm getting an email report from them, and, we go from there.
How much? I guess when an entrepreneur comes in, are you studying them more so than the actual product?
Both. So they set up first. So we see the setup for the deal, and you're trying to think of what it's like. You see the name of the company, and then they tell us the name of the entrepreneurs. And then when they walk in, I'm kind of trying to peg them, but I'm listening to see how what I think they're doing matches up with what they're talking about, and if what they're talking about makes any sense to me at all. Like starting a coffee shop, and you're going to put an emphasis on just sitting in the coffee shop and not buying coffee even if you don't want to. I would have been like, get the hell out of here,
Yeah, that wouldn't fly today. Yeah, no. So like, I know you've been asked this on Shark Tank, but is there a deal or two that you look back to your point and you say, I wish I would have done that one?
Maybe Spike Ball, just because it was fun.
Spike Ball's fun.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like anything else, man. You don't worry about the girl you could have dated or the guy you could have dated or whatever, right? It's just, that's all in the past. And I'm always going forward. But yeah, Spike Ball's not even because of the business side of it, but just because of the fun of it, and my kids like it.
Yeah. What are you, if you had to say one or two things with an entrepreneur, so you want them to match up with what they're saying to match up with their actual presentation, but you want to detect hardworking, earnestness, integrity. Is that like the number one thing?
Yeah, integrity. Yeah, willingness to learn, always learning because business is going to change. Ability to sell, so convinced that their product's amazing that they'd run through a door to sell it. Good people skills, kind, compassionate, right? Because you want to take care of your customers and your employees. Those are the types of things that have to be there. And if they're not, it doesn't matter what the idea is.
My dad always said, and this is one of the few things that's really stuck in my head, is don't be afraid to surround yourself with people that are smarter and different
Oh yeah, no. Let me just tell you, all my successful companies, my partners and best employees were the people that were totally different than me. I'm a ready, fire, aim guy, and I always needed somebody who was ready, aim, fire, that was really anal. And all my Todd Wagner, Martin Woodall, just anal as hell, right? And all really nitpicky on the details, which would drive me crazy. But that's what I needed. And without them, I wouldn't get anything done. And even to this point, you know, I need people who know things I don't know. I already know what I know. I need somebody who knows what I don't know. So your dad's absolutely right.
But
That one thing you
he's
remember,
watching.
right? That one thing you remember.
He's been texting me saying "great job" to Mark. I don't know if he means "great job" to me. Last two things is you've become like a really fun TikTok follow, I must say. And I was just curious, like, what was the impetus to your TikTok game?
What's that?
Like, what was the impetus to say I'm gonna get
Oh
on
man,
TikTok?
I'm that guy's got to learn everything about social media. Any new social media. I was on Musically before it was even TikTok, right? And Lively before that. And so, that's just part of my business. If you're going to know tech, if you're going to know the industry, if you're going to know what's happening in social media, you got to at least try everything. And so, for all you people who want to see my dance skills, I'm M Cuban. I got some moves. I'm M Cuban on TikTok, and I get out there with my kids and have fun with it. And actually, it's a great thing to do with the family, man. We just do some stupid stuff, and it's fun. I've even had a couple of go viral. It's been a blast.
Yeah. So you said people recognize you more from Shark Tank. I wonder how long it is before it's like Shark Tank, TikTok. Oh yeah, the match.
Yo, let me just say, I get, my daughter and I, Alexis, who choreographs most of the video because she thinks she's cool now, right? So she's like playing to be TikTok famous. So she's got it down. I'm like, Lex, when are we going to do another TikTok, right? And she's like, well, we got to do it at this time. And she goes through and analyzes it all, which is cool for 16. And, we're getting there. We went to, oh my God, there was a conference for all TikTokers. I forget, it was called Live something down in Orlando. And so, yeah, she was big time. So I'm just trying to keep up with her. I'm letting her be the TikTok famous one. And I'll just take the drag from it. But hopefully someday for my dance moves, I will be TikTok famous.
So you're well on your way. So
well, I want to know when you can get you and your dad and your mom out there and start doing TikTok.
I would love to. But here's the problem. My dad's a terrible dancer. I'm worse. And my mom thinks she can dance, which is actually the worst out of everything. So
no, that's even better. It's like straight out of Seinfeld, right? That's all the more reason. You don't have to be good. You just got to have fun, right? Oh, yeah, just get your dad doing one of these easy ones.
Yeah, exactly. Can TikTok really, you feel like it's taken off that much, right?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, what TikTok really does that's really good is the videos are short. They have lots of tools to make it easy to record. But their AI is off the charts, as good as any AI I've ever seen. So if Jordan is going through and watching TikToks, and let's just say you spend a couple of days watching 20 minutes a day, it'll know what you like. Because it tracks, not necessarily tracks, but learns from the types of videos that you'll watch over and over because some are addictive. And then it learns who you watch and what do you like basketball videos. So I like to watch a lot of the stupid basketball videos and the hype videos, right? That's all I see. Which when I see my son watching it, it's a mix. And when I see my daughters watching it, it's all music driven. And so it's just really, really smart. And so for TikTok users, it's all personalized. Your experience is going to be different than my experience. And I know your dad's a heavy user, and I know Howard's experience is going to be completely different.
Yeah, it definitely, it very much will be. Last question is, what's the Mark Cuban, and I've gotten this a lot because I pose on my Instagram and Twitter, what do you want to know? A lot of people want to know, what's your favorite 5 Netflix? You mentioned Ozark, but what are your streaming shows right now?
So Ozark, Hunters, Tiger King, what are the other 2? And then after that, I always get into the Netflix or Amazon end of the world disaster series, right? That are awful and have awful special effects.
Awful.
But the world's blowing up, right? And so I've always watched those forever, right? Since I was a kid. So it's mostly just stupid, whatever they recommend. If it has an end of the world thing to it, like the Day After Tomorrow type movie.
Oh, Armageddon. Movie.
Oh, I love that movie. Or
Andreas or San Andreas.
San Andreas Fault, right? Or 2012, right? Where the whole world's falling apart. I can watch those types of movies all night. And so that's what I watch.
Even under normal circumstances?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like my wife, like we'll have family movie night, and my wife's like, okay, we got to give Daddy a night, right? Because they've been watching Blacklist and all these other shows, um, and she's like, oh, we got to have an end of the world night, and so it's just like, yeah, that's what Daddy likes.
All right, so Desert Island. This is the final question I like. Desert Island. One book, and you're stranded for a month. You're gonna be okay, but one book, one movie, one meal.
Book is Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. One meal is, oh my God. I went
Sushi.
vegetarian. I went vegetarian, so it's probably now going to be like a big heap of mashed potatoes, sweet potato fries, and cheese grits, all mushed together with a chocolate hot fudge sundae and a banana split, all right
Ooh.
there, right?
Okay.
And then in terms of books, I mean, since it's the end of the world and I'm just stuck on an island, it wouldn't be any business stuff. It'd probably be a murder mystery. I don't even, I haven't read fiction in so long, and I need to. But like, I'm on this I was gonna say I'm on this kick to keep on learning artificial intelligence and robotics and everything. I'm reading this book called Healthy Buildings, another one called Rebooting AI. Starting to get up to speed on neural network stuff, or even learn even more of the different types. And so that's kind of where my head is right now. But on that desert island, nothing but trash.
Always evolving.
Oh
That's
man, you got to be
that,
learning,
that's
but that's the competitive side, man. You got you young guns, man. I got to kick ass, man. All these young kids think they got me. Hell no, man. I'm gonna come into my lane, man. It's over.
Oh my God. Well, Mark, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. I want to let you go, but I'm going to be following your TikTok, M
Yep,
Cuban,
I'm M
and
Cuban on all social. Follow me here. Follow me
yeah.
everywhere on M Cuban.
All right, my man. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night. Stay safe and enjoy day after tomorrow or wherever you're going.
I appreciate it, Jordan. You too, man. Tell your dad I said hi.
Yeah, I will. Bye. There you have it, Mark Cuban, the absolute best. What an awesome guy and just a super dude all around. And thank you so much for tuning in to Hang Time. If I did not get to any of your questions, and there's a lot of them, wow. Woo-wee. Please send me a DM. I will get to them. And if I can help anyone in any way, send me a DM. I got you. And in the meantime, have a safe night. Tomorrow we got a couple really fun ones. I'm going to post some clips from my common hang time session. And this weekend or next week, depending on timing, we got Big Daddy Shaquille O'Neal coming on. So thank you again. Be well. And until next time, stay safe.